Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 286, Edwards versus Usman 3. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Veronica Hardy versus Juliana Miller. And the highest one right here going Juliana Miller. Just don't really think Hardy has anything for her. I feel like she has a deficiency in the grappling department, could easily be a splitter on the ground, and I think that's just what Juliana Miller would do. Right. Pressure her, throw some volume, level change, drag her to the mat. It's really just pound her out. I'm going to say like ground and pound and tap her out first round. So in this one, I have Juliana Miller via first round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Herbert versus Klein. And how I see this one is going Klein here. I feel like Herbert is maybe the more technical striker in my opinion. He does got some lymph on him. But my issue with him in this one is that he just doesn't put that volume out there. In a fight that could highly likely go to decision. It's not like Klein has a history of getting stopped on the feet. He doesn't. So it's not like Herbert is very active fighter. That's the issue. He's not super active out there. Average has a very low average output. So with that output, you guys are gonna need a finish or a drop or something to win a fight. And that's not really a good look. And also, if you're only coming with one dimension, also not a good look. So I feel like Klein will be the one likely mixing up more. If anyone's gonna attempt takedown and have success, likely gonna be Klein. If anyone with a higher output, it's gonna be Klein. And like Herbert, like I said, you're a sniper, but you're relying on these sharp shots. It's not like you this guy that's been putting everyone out. If anything, he's been put out. I think he had like one stoppage win, and he got two or three stoppage losses in the UFC. So it's not like he's a big stoppage artist. He's been stopped more times than he stopped people, is what I'm saying. So you wouldn't be this guy with this low output. You better be knocking people out left and right, and he hasn't been doing that. So, and also Klein's been on some good momentum. So got to go Klein here, more active, riding better steam, and guy that's going to mix it up more in this one. So in this one, I have Ludovic Klein via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Joanne Wood versus Luana Carolina, and high season right here. I'm going Luana Carolina. I think Joanne Wood or Joanne Carterwood has, her best days are pretty much behind her for the most part. She's 37 years old. Yes, you can say a big step down in competition, but I just don't think her will to fight, her that dog in her or whatever that thing that you need to have to be successful in the sport, I don't think it's there anymore. Or it's there to such a little degree that it's like, it's not enough. I feel like Luana Carolina, she has had her more, I don't know, she has more ups than downs, and she has like maybe two wins that are aging pretty well on her side. And going there with Joanne Wood, who, like I said, when faced with adversity now, has this kind of wilted. I'm gonna go with Luana Carolina. Like she's the younger fighter, 28 years old versus like a 37-year-old woman, similar height, and then she has the longer reach. And I feel like I could expect her to touch Wood from areas where Wood's not used to getting touched from, going to a fight that's around her same length and a little bit longer and younger and more active. So I'm expecting Carolina to show some growth, and also expecting Wood to continue to decay. And I felt like this is a fight where Luana Carolina is going to get the biggest win of her career, or maybe the biggest name of her career on her resume. And ultimately, it's coming down to, I just don't think Joanne Wood got much in her. I don't think she takes shots as well anymore. I think she crumbles under any adversity, and I feel like Luana Carolina will bring that. And I think Luana Carolina will thrive. And also, it's not like Joanne Wood really mixes in grappling a whole lot. If anything, she has been the victim of grappling more than she's been the culprit, I guess, or the person inflicting the grappling damage on people. I think she's got like one submission win in the UFC or something like that. So not a whole lot of grappling success, not a whole lot of grappling attempts. Meaning she's been taken down more, been exploited more in that area than she's ever exploited someone in that area. So yeah, in this one, I'm gonna say Luana Carolina breaks it down and puts her away second round late. So in this one, I got Luana Carolina via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, Jake Hadley versus Malcolm Gordon, the high season right here. Can't really get too much confidence in Jake Hadley. He's not really just such an impressive talent, to be honest. He gives up takedowns to every single opponent he fights. That's a big issue. His grappling not as good as he think it is. His striking not as good as he thinks it is. But he's in his backyard going against Malcolm Gordon, who's not the most consistent fighter either. I think Jake Hadley will wear the damage better. I think it'll be a scrappy fight. I think Jake Hadley will look good in the first. Then Gordon will kind of rally in the second. Then ultimately, I think close third round, but Jake Hadley's able to push the intensity up on him and put Malcolm Gordon away in the third round. That's why I think it's the case where Malcolm Gordon gonna have his moments. I think he definitely gets a takedown. That's his I think Hadley has given up at least one takedown every single fight he has had underneath the UFC banner. I think that will continue. So I think Gordon will get a takedown, probably get some decent control time. I think overall, I think Gordon's BJJ is better. Yeah, I just think ultimately close, weird fight because Hadley's not as good as he think he is, and Gordon's a little bit better than people think he is. And then in the third round, Hadley's able to rally and put him away in that third round via TKO. So in this one, I got Jake Hadley via third round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the middleweight division, Christian Leroy Duncan versus Dusko Todorovic in hot season right here. Going Christian Leroy Duncan. Todorovic has had most of his success in the grappling department in the UFC. Like all three of his wins have come in the grappling department. And I think Christian Leroy Duncan's takedown defense is solid enough to stuff his takedowns. I think he can get him out of there early. Both of these guys are finishers, so I think no matter how this fight ends, it's going to end in the finish. Yeah, no matter how you look at it, I think it's going to end in the finish. I think Christian Leroy Duncan puts him away. I think he's able to defend the takedowns. You can't be super, super confident in Christian Leroy Duncan, obviously, because his resume is still being developed. And so far, his wins aren't all that great. Like, this is kind of the start of, the start of something. I ain't gonna say Dusko Todorovic is such an amazing talent or anything, but this probably, matter of fact, will be his biggest win if he wins. And I think he will win. And I think he can exploit him on the striking department. I think he can stuff his takedowns. I think he can put him away early. I feel Todorovic has been hurt a lot early, and I feel like Leroy Duncan can take advantage of that and put him away once he hurts him early and get him out of in that first round. Maybe similar to Chidi and Jukwani, just to tag him, stuff the takedowns, maybe land some sharp elbows in the clinch and get him out in the first round. So in this one, I got Christian Leroy Duncan via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Lerone Murphy versus Gabriel Santos. And high season right here is going Lerone Murphy to beat Gabriel Santos. Santos, has a bit of a wild style at times. Like, he can be hurt and tagged early because he fights very aggressive, which leaves you open to be hurt. Coming in on semi-short notice, coming in not the best circumstances. And I feel like Lerone Murphy is kind of coming to his own. I feel like he's the sharper, cleaner striker and more consistent striker. I think Gabriel Santos overall is the more complete fighter. But Santos, I feel like he doesn't patch all his skills together just yet. I still feel like he kind of fights very youthful and like he's still piecing things together. Now they just aren't pieced together. So I feel like the over-aggression early going to lead to him getting caught with something clean that he doesn't see, hurt. I think Lerone Murphy puts him away in the first round. So in this one, I have Lerone Murphy via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Muhammad Mokaya versus Rafael Filo. And high season right here is I'm going Mokaya to beat Filo, but not with a whole lot of confidence at all. Filo showed to be a very well-rounded fighter in his last fight, actually getting the fight done in the striking department, and already having the BJJ at a high level. We see Mokaya in his last fight struggle with Malcolm Gordon, who has no solid BJJ. So it's a definitely dangerous look. Also, they talking about Mokaya has the injury and this and that, but I'm gonna ride the prospect, the potential of Mokaya to be able to pull this through, but this is definitely a very tough matchup. Anything, Rafael Filo seemingly look like the better guy, to be honest. Bigger, more physical, got that BJJ there as well. Striking a little cleaner than Mokaya strike. I feel like Mokaya got, that youthful striking. Like, it's not always there, but just off them, just riding that, the fact that they feel, he is undefeated, but feeling like invincible. They just go out there on flying knees and stuff like that. But it may not look sloppy and unpolished, but it be working for them. Then later on, they had to actually patch their striking together and actually have a solid game. Also, maybe they get away with stuff because, they respect wrestling and grappling so much of them that they don't see the stuff coming, or who knows. But nonetheless, I'm going Mokaya here. Feel like he's going to be able to mix it up and again, do that youthful stuff, to do flying knees, slappy punches and stuff, mixing takedowns, and grind out a decision. Rafael Filo probably look more cleaner, more technical in just about every area. I feel like Muhammad Mokaya probably going to just be able to just heart and grit out a win, scoring takedowns, battling for positions. And I think he ekes out a decision over Rafael Filo in a very close fight. So in this one, I have Muhammad Mokaya via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Sam Patterson versus ONeill Ashimov. And high season right here between Patterson versus Ashimov is I'm not super impressed with anything Ashimov brings. I feel like he's just pretty basic overall. That's really what it is, like basic pressure grinder, maybe a regional scene level fighter, basically, or guy brought in the UFC that's going to just maybe be fed to better opponents, kind of. I don't really see, amazing skill set from Ashimov. I feel like Patterson should be able to beat him everywhere, maybe outside of like a pure wrestling match, I guess. But as far as MMA, I feel like Patterson should be able to use that length to pick him apart from distance. And then when he comes on the inside trying to force takedowns and trying to hug him, basically, I feel like already have him wearing the damage and then threatening with submissions, like threatening with chokes to thwart the takedowns of Ashimov and get him off. Eventually just starts to, rinse, repeat, keep tagging him. And then the same choke he's using to threaten to get Ashimov off, he'll use to finish Ashimov off in a second. Like, so have him worn down, have him wearing damage, and then he coming in trying to get some breather or trying to get to a takedown, snap on a guillotine, maybe a high elbow guillotine, depending on how Ashimov responds, maybe a pull guard guillotine, or maybe Ashimov gets like a single and then falls into his guard in the guillotine, something like that. It could be either of those type of, I feel like a guillotine second round for Sam Patterson after, tearing off on Ashimov from distance, and then when he comes inside looking for takedowns, finding the neck and choking him out second round. So in this one, I have Sam Patterson via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Chris Duncan versus Omar Morales in the hot seat right here is going Chris Duncan. Omar Morales to me looks like the better fighter, but the man is pushing 40. He has been underwhelming a lot in his career. And Duncan, I think Duncan not even 30 yet. People kind of seemingly viewing Duncan as this journeyman, only got one loss, and et cetera, et cetera, but then still below 30 or something like that. Omar Morales pushing 40. And they, near Chris Duncan, they closer to Chris Duncan's stomping grounds than Omar Morales. So I feel like Duncan's going to come in here, with something to prove and try to make a statement. And I feel like he will. Also, this is his opportunity in the UFC he's been looking for. And my thing with this one, I feel, Omar Morales has struggled to get a finishes in the UFC level. I don't think he got any finishes at the UFC level. And I feel like Chris Duncan's going to land the heavier shots. And he's going to be the one looking for the finish more so. And I feel like he's going to be the one to be able to push the pace when needed to push the pace. I feel like he'll be the one that's going to throw the hard shots. I feel like Omar Morales going to fight more at a controlled pace. But I feel like Duncan's is like they're going to do the heavier damage and do the volume when it needs to be done. And, he's going to put the effort there when it needs to be done, where I feel like Omar Morales going to fight at a consistent pace. And also another issue with Omar Morales that kind of points to the fact that he doesn't do what needs to be done in a lot of these fights, or none of these fights, is that he has 100% takedown accuracy, but he has lost fights and he hasn't attempted takedowns. It'd be much better to have like a 30%, 40% takedown accuracy, but you actually attempt takedowns. And maybe that would have allowed you to win some of these fights you lost, but the fact that you don't use your full skill set, even when maybe you should use your full skill set, it points to the fact that this guy doesn't do what needs to be done a lot of times. Like, doesn't go for the finish like he needs to, doesn't set it up, doesn't, like I said, just kind of missing that factor. And I feel like Duncan kind of has that factor and Morales doesn't. And ultimately, I feel like Chris Duncan's going to win a decision here, probably dealing damage, maybe dropping Omar Morales or hurt him at some point in this one. And close fight, but Duncan dealing the more notable damage and winning the minutes he needs to win to get his hand raised. So in this one, I have Chris Duncan via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the featherweight division, Jack Shore versus Makwan Amirkhani, and Hadley right here going Jack Shore. Don't like the fact that he's coming up in weight. This would be a lock if Makwan Amirkhani would drop in 135, but Shore's coming up to 45, so it makes it, this is like a high confident pick. But yeah, Makwan Amirkhani has, maybe through a round or two, amazing wrestling and BJJ for a round. But I feel like Jack Shore is the more complete fighter, should be to address the grappling through at least a round. Then the second round, I see Jack Shore is, going full in and starting to picking apart a tired Makwan Amirkhani, start walking down, jabbing up, ripping him to the body, is stand on him, just putting the pressure on him, put him in the pressure cooker, and just taking advantage of the sloppy striking, the, I guess, poor cardio of Makwan Amirkhani, and just really just stand in his face, wearing him down. Over the course of the second round, largely the third round, and then eventually just tap him out in the third round once he's exhausted and battered. So in this one, I got Jack Shore via third round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the first fight on the main card in the middleweight division, Marvin Vittori versus Roman Dolidze. And how I see him right here is I'm going Marvin Vittori. Roman Dolidze is riding some real good steam right now. But I just can't really get behind Dolidze right now in this one. I feel his striking still look pretty, clunky and unsmooth. He only won his last fight because Hermansson kept taking him to the mat because he couldn't get a takedown zone, but he had to rely on Hermansson to take the fight to the mat. And then on the mat, that's when he was able to, change his fortunes and get that TKO over Hermansson. But without Hermansson initiating takedown, it was like he's going to go to easily lose probably a 30-27 shutout, like easily. So in this one, I feel like Marvin Vittori was able to outstrike Hermansson, like MMA striking math. But Marvin Vittori has cardio, unlike Dolidze. Dolidze hasn't really shown cardio in his MMA game. Vittori has phenomenal cardio or solid cardio. Seems to look like the more clean striker. Vittori, no textbook striker, but I feel like he has shown cleaner striking and has shown more effective striking. Sturdy chin, solid grappling, just like Dolidze. Not to the level of Dolidze at all, but I feel like enough to stuff to take down Dolidze. And if the fight does hit the mat, maybe if Vittori gets to the mat, or maybe if Dolidze does find some way to get to the mat, I feel like Vittori has the skills on the ground to hold his own with Dolidze, at least for one round, or at least to get back to his feet and to continue to outstrike Dolidze, put a pace on Dolidze. And then you kind of put in Dolidze in a case where he needs the fight to hit the mat and so he can create something to happen, or I don't know, but I feel like outside maybe the first round and a half, I feel like that's maybe Dolidze's most dangerous times outside if the fight hits the mat. But I feel like the longer the fight goes, Dolidze just loses any chances to win. Because again, a guy that needs maybe get things done early, or going in with a guy that doesn't have the grappling skills he does have. But ultimately, I feel like Marvin Vittori is going to outwork him, outgrind him, and beat him to a decision. Like I just haven't seen what I wanted to see from Dolidze. But again, riding good momentum, so still a very live dog here, but got to go Vittori here to get his hand raised in a decision. So in this one, I have Marvin Vittori via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, we have Jennifer Maia versus Casey ONeill. So we just want to go on Casey ONeill. I feel like injury could be a little bit of issue. I feel like the time off could be a little bit of issue, but even in her last fight, they talked about how she didn't have the best performance against Roxanne Modafferi, and I would agree. Statistically, she put up over 200 significant strikes against Roxanne Modafferi, and I feel like ultimately this fight will come down to the striking department or the volume department. Maia, as much as people like to tout her, she not the, well, I don't know, people not really hire her like that. She is the dog, but yeah, Jennifer Maia ain't no big finisher on the feet. She ain't got no big heavy hands like that. She definitely got no pillow hands, but she's not a finisher on the feet. Not really a finisher much in general. So a fight that's likely going to go to a decision. A fight where grappling highly likely going to cancel each other out. It's going to end up being a who can land the most strikes type of fight. And Casey ONeill in her last fight showed she could land over 200 significant strikes. So I just feel like it's going to be a fight, probably still be relatively competitive, but I feel like Casey ONeill is going to outstrike her, outland her, outvolume her. Let's just say, probably not even say outstrike, she's going to outvolume her. No one doing significant damage, but Casey ONeill outvolume her. And then from the striking, it's going to dictate who has the more success in grappling, because you're getting off on the feet, you're going to feel more confident. You're getting outstruck, you're going to feel less confident. You're not going to feel is in position to set up takedowns and flow. You let your game flow. And I feel like in that case, Casey ONeill's grappling going to flow better. And she's going to get the better of the grappling. She's going to get the better of the striking. And this overall set the pace and tone and win this fight. Still going to be a very competitive fight, but I feel like Casey ONeill will have more success in every area of this fight and should win a clear decision. Competitive, but clear for Casey ONeill. So in this one, I have Casey ONeill via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, Gunnar Nelson versus Brian Bam Bam Barberena. And how I see him right here is going Gunnar Nelson. Barberena hadn't shown the best takedown defense at all. Hadn't shown the best grappling at all. Gunnar Nelson will look to take him down and look to grab him. Brian Barberena is coming off a fight where he got quickly submitted by RDA. And I feel like Gunnar Nelson is going to look to do similar. Probably not as spectacular or as shut out, but I'm going to say a second round submission for Gunnar Nelson. I feel like he's going to be able to fill Brian Barberena out, take advantage of his aggressive style, score a takedown, probably wear him down the first round, and then look to just rinse, repeat second round, and just get the team to wear on him, and find that submission in the second round. I don't feel like Barberena's going to have much answer to that approach. especially coming like given the fact that his last fight was not so long ago. It's not like he had a whole year. It's not like he had fights in between. Fight probably like a month or two ago, 3 months ago. Again, no matter how you cut it, not a whole lot of time ago. And it's not like there's been no fights in between where he can show some improvements, and he's not going to make no big improvements. And yeah, to see him getting tapped out yet again, this time second round. So in this one, I have Gunnar Nelson via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael FaZe. And how I see him right here is going Rafael FaZe. I feel Gaethje, never really continued to polish his tools. I feel like he didn't add BJJ like he needed to do. He didn't really focus on his grappling like he needed to. I guess he feel like, I'm a D1 wrestler, so my wrestling's already there. And he lost it. I don't think at this point in your career, you're going to add it back. Typically, that's not how it happens. Like, you don't just start to let your skills diminish, and then like later in your career, you start to like, I'm going to bring it back. It typically doesn't happen. Like, you got to keep that in. You got to keep polishing that. You really got to keep polishing and keep tuning it up and keep putting yourself in uncomfortable positions so that your skills continue to grow or at least stay sharp. And he didn't. He might mix some takedowns. He might have some success, but relative success, I don't think he'll have relative success or really factorable success. Maybe 2 takedowns is maximum, if even that. If to be honest, I might say he's going to get 0. Matter of fact, to be honest, I'm going to say he'll get 0 takedowns, to be honest. I'm going to say he'll get 0 takedowns. FaZe has very solid takedown defense. Very good hips and like very explosive, very fast. And again, good hips, good wrestling defense. Again, Gaethje hasn't really been keeping those skills sharp on his side. I think FaZe is just going to be too fast, too sharp for him. And I think he's going to take away some of his best weapons. Like, Gaethje loves big, sloppy power strikes. Gaethje loves leg kicks. And I felt FaZe, he's a master at that. Like, he's a master of the kicking game. I feel like he'll be able to slip the kicks of Gaethje when he tries to kick his leg and make him spin around and whiffing these kicks. Or if he does hit him, he'll just be checking them well and then ripping Gaethje to the body with switch kicks, push kicks, stepping side kicks, all types of crazy kicks from all different angles, and just have Gaethje struggling with his footwork, struggling with his speed. And ultimately, I think FaZe was going to put him out of there. I feel like, again, a fighter who allowed himself to become one-dimensional almost. Now going with a guy who's world-class in that area, he's one-dimensional. So you're going in there with a world-class striker, and you're just, really an MMA striker. And I felt FaZe was going to put him away. I feel like FaZe should be able to slip the kicks, slip and rip him to the body, with punches, kicks, knees, and start to get Gaethje to tee over, like tumble over, like Gaethje loves to. I mean, not love, but Gaethje gets very effective when he gets hit to the body, starts to crumble over, start to dip over. I feel like FaZe will be able to do that, rip him the body with kicks. They start to pressure him, get in the inside land knees, put him to plumb, knees to the body, knees to the head, elbows, and just continues to wear on Gaethje. I feel like first round, like filling out process, but slowly chipping away. Then beyond that first round, starts to pressure him, get on the inside, and again, 10 to the body, put him to plumb, ripping shots to the body with his punches, with hooks to the body for the plumb, knees to the body, elbows, and just really putting the pressure on Gaethje, and ultimately cracking him in the third round and put him away via TKO. So in this one, I have Rafael FaZe via third round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division for the undisputed welterweight title, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3. And how I see one right here is I think this will be a very good scrap between these two into the trilogy. I'm going Kamaru Usman to beat Leon Edwards. Based off looking at the last fight, I feel like Kamaru Usman will be able to make adjustments. I think Leon Edwards will make adjustments as well, but I think ultimately Kamaru Usman's adjustment will be better. It will be more successful. I feel like he'll take advantage of that mid-range more, that in-the-pocket game more, where Edwards can't be is dynamic, look to make the cage small, rip him to the body and clinch, then level change, scoop him, drag him to the mat. And then in the center, like I said, rip him to the body, rip him to the head, and level change, drag him to the mat. I feel like Edwards will look to grapple a little bit more in this one. I feel like he had some good success in the first fight. I mean, not first fight, in the last fight with the grappling. I feel like he'll try to mix that in more. I think he'll try to mix up more, but I think ultimately that will play into Usman's game. I also think another thing Edwards will do, I think he'll feint more, given the fact that he was able to win the fight off of feint. I think he'll do off some more feints in there, but I think Usman will approach to probably making this fight smaller and closer range and just smother him and not maybe looking for a dynamic finish for himself as much. I think he was trying to look for a knockout a lot in that, their last fight. And I feel like this one he's going to fight smarter, maybe kind of how he fought Jorge Masvidal the first time. And second time a bit, more so the first time. and not fight it is dynamic of a fight, and not trying to look for a finish, which will put him in position to be in finish. I think he'll again fight a smarter fight, a smothering fight in the pocket, or largely in the pocket, or going for a takedown, like so in the pocket or a clinch or takedown type fight, and not giving Edwards the space to be is dynamic. And I know Usman can push a pace like that, and I think he'll be able to do this in this one. I think Edwards will have his moment. He will be able to create space, but I think Usman will make those opportunities much less available, and just look to really just drain and suck the life out of Edwards, and either have his back in the cage or his back on the mat. I think that's what Usman's approach will be in this one, and I think it will be a successful approach, and I think he beats Edwards via decision. So in this one, I have Kamaru Usman via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC 286, Edwards versus Usman 3. And as always, thanks for watching.